guys, it's Little Baby and I'm back. I'm doing another video. I just filmed the DDLG tag, so I don't know which one I'm going to be uploading first, but either way I'm going to be having the same outfit on. But today I'm going to be doing the signs of a fake dom. I feel like this is something that seriously needs to be addressed in this community because there are so many fake doms. There are fake littles as well, and I will address that in the future, but this right now is something I see a lot more important. There are a lot of new littles in this community that don't know, and having a fake dom can scar you. And I've never been there myself, but I've had fake doms approach me, and I just don't want to see one of my fellow littles getting hurt. You know, that's something I want to do or see happen. So let's get into this. Number 1, they barely attempt to get to know you before asking to be your dom. We have all had this moment where doms hop into our DMs, our messages, and ask to be our daddy, our mommy, our caregiver, our master. And we're just like, excuse me? No. Are you dumb? No. That's disrespectful, it's rude. And 9 times out of 10, they're either fake or extremely uneducated, and either way, you don't want to be a part of that. 2, they're extremely sexual right away, whether it be by asking for nudes, wanting to roleplay, or just sex in general. Not every dynamic, not every relationship in the CGL lifestyle has to be sexual. But if it's not consented or agreed upon by both partners that it is going to be sexual, you should not have a dom asking for sex right away. I also want to hint on another thing right there that I forgot to include in these rules. So there's going to be a number 3 right here that I'm kind of cutting in. If he's asking for nudes or any sexual form as a type of training that you have not consented upon, that is a sign right there. No dom should do that right away. He or she or they should be more interested on getting to know you and learning about you before even asking to be your dom. 4, they're only there for you when it benefits them. That's the big sign. If they're only there when you're in low space or when they want something sexual, get out. Do not be a part of it. That is not what a dom is. They refuse to make your relationship public. That's a pretty big sign that he's just wanting to mess around. And not only does that show that he's not educated as a dom or a real dom in general, it just shows that he's not going to be loyal. And that's another thing you don't want to mess around with unless it's consensual and it's agreed upon that you're not going to be monogamous. 5, they don't give you rules. Not every CGR relationship has to have rules, but if they're suspiciously careless, it can be a sign. 6, they punish you a lot, especially over little things, and if the punishments tend to be a bit extreme or sexual right away, that's a sign. They don't seem to understand the dynamics of a CGL relationship or the bond it can create. I can't talk today. Like, I really can't. But that's important to keep in mind, because anyone, little or dom, submissive or dom, that participates in this type of dynamic needs to educate themselves. That's the bottom line. If you don't know what it is, you don't understand how it works, you cannot participate. You shouldn't try to participate without educating yourself. Always educate yourself. That's the most important thing. If they disappear for days at a time with 0 explanation, that is a huge sign. As a dom, your job is to be there for your little, and if they show no respect, no care whatsoever and just leave you, huge sign. Leave. They use ignoring as a punishment. I cannot tell you how many times I've had littles in my messages on Instagram, in my DMs, telling me that their doms ignore them as punishment. And my response is always, communication is key. you have to tell them it's uncomfortable for you. It hurts you. You are not okay with it. That is a hard limit for you. And 9 times out of 10, they tell me that they did. And their doms don't care. Huge sign. Leave. If he does not care enough about you to respect you or your hard limits, girl, person in general, get out. You are worth so much more than that. You can find so much better. That's a sign of a fake dom. They don't take no for an answer. They keep pushing for sexual things like nudes, or if you're in the middle of a scene and they keep pushing and pushing and pushing, trying to get you to move your hard limits and do something you are not comfortable with. That is not okay. And if you have discussed it beforehand, you do not want that to happen, that you don't want him to try to him or her say. I keep doing that because I have a daddy, so I say he. I don't know. Like, I strictly only, have male doms. So that's kind of, I'm sorry. I know that there are female doms and doms without a specific gender out there, so I apologize. Excuse my little mess-ups and words. That's not okay. And if you discussed it beforehand, then they should respect that. And if they don't respect you, how can you carry out a relationship with them? Any dom should know that hard limits are an absolute must respect. They don't respect you or your limits. Basically just explain that. It's just a huge thing for me. I don't know if anyone else agrees or if it's just me. Like I said, not everyone will agree on my little rules here, my little lists, my little signs. But if I was talking to a potential dom and I found out that he did not respect me or my hard limits, then I would never get with him, because that shows to me that he is not educated in what being a dom means, what being a dom is, what being a dom entails. They exaggerate their experience. This is another thing I feel like almost every little has been through. When someone hops into your DMs and they're like, oh, I've had like so and so many littles and have been a dom for years, but you can tell that they haven't, and that their entire profile is just sexual things. You can tell that they only see the lifestyle as sexual, and you're just like, oh boy, here we go again. Like, that's how I feel every time someone hops into my DMs. Typically it's a guy. Typically he's asking me to be his little, or if I like spank. I've literally been asked that. Not, do you like spanking? Do you like spank? I was like, really? No, bye. They demand your submission, and don't try earning it. This is such an important one. Everyone knows, submissive or dom, that submission is earned, not taken. I cannot stress it enough. Once again, I am not an expert. I've only been a little submissive for about 2 years, but please know that your submission is special. It does not go to just anyone, unless you feel like it should. I mean, I don't want to make you feel bad as a person if you are giving out your submission to random strangers, but that's kind of not, I don't know, like, I just don't agree with that. Like, I feel like that puts you more at risk for being taken advantage of. And you should know that if a dom is trying to get your submission without even earning it, it's a sign. And you do not want to be a part of that, because you deserve more respect. They never give you any praise and only negative comments, like punishments, because they want to give you sexual punishments. That for me shows that the dom is not educated in his job, especially if he's a daddy or they're a caregiver. Caregivers are a lot more affectionate than just masters. But still, with masters, every dom should give you some sort of praise. They only want to meet in private. So, for instance, if you're meeting in real life for the first time and they only want to meet in private, that should be a huge red flag. Because, especially just for your safety, that usually means that they want sex. And sex right away is an okay thing if that's your goal, if you both have agreed upon that. But if you haven't and you're thinking you're just gonna go there and talk, 9 times out of 10, that's not what they have in mind, and they only want to keep your relationship private, and that's something you need to keep an eye out for. And that's all I came up with so far. I will make a part 2 to this if I have any more. And once again, I know not everyone's going to agree with my little signs and stuff like that, and there's going to be people that are like, oh, you're so wrong. And maybe I am wrong with some of these, maybe, maybe to each their own, but for me, those are the signs I've used and the signs I will always use. And I love you guys, and I just want you to stay safe and be educated. And yeah, so I will see you in a couple weeks with a new video, probably either my BDSM toy collection or a pet play tag.